Yo, episode 11 of the Put On podcast. We started with the first one in person. We decided we need to make 11 in person. So I am here in New York. What's good, D?
What's good? Welcome back to the Big Apple. How you feeling, man?
Doing well. I'm trying to think if that was the last time I was here. When was that? No, that was Christmas time. I've been back a few times since. Why didn't we not shoot in person?
I don't know. We've been slacking, I guess.
Probably. Yeah, because that was 9 months ago. That was December of 20.
I have like the worst concept of time. Like everything feels like it's too long or too short. I have no idea. It's hard for me to remember. But what do you think about being back in New York? I'm always curious about just like an outsider's perception of New York.
Of New York
City. Yeah.
I mean, I feel like the one thing that I've noticed more right now in this specific trip than any time, I think I was saying to you, I came to New York for the first time summer 2022, and I've probably been back 8 to 10 times since. And I loved it, and I still love it, but it's one of those things where specifically this time, I noticed that like I miss my backyard, or I miss the mountains, or I miss being able to go on a walk and like not run into a million people, you know what I mean? Like, I'm just like, New York City, I know you don't live specifically in the city, but like New York City is not a great spot for anyone who's potentially claustrophobic, or not that I am, but like, bro, it's tiring. Like,
yeah,
living in the city as a young person, I can understand, but yeah, the family, it's insane.
It's funny because I called you the other day, and it was like so typical where I was like, we were trying to talk and like the background, it was like the cabs honking, yeah. Like hold on, and then there was like a fire truck.
Yeah,
I was like,
there's like schools crossing.
There's real noise pollution.
Yeah,
and like, look, I lived in the city for 10 years.
What part of the city?
I lived on the west side, like 27th and 6th. Then I moved to the east side. Then I went uptown. I was on the Upper East Side.
Yeah.
And then at a certain point, it was like, okay, I'm in my 30s, about to be in my 30s. I think recently married, wanted to start a family. The walls started closing in on you. And then it's like, if I'm not going out to the clubs and I'm not,
what's the point of being?
Yeah, kind of like, what's the point? And then at a certain point, obviously, I felt the same way of like, I want a backyard. I want like fresh air. And it's funny because I come in now and, you get the whole energy of being in the city.
Yeah, and I love it.
Right. But then when I get home, it's so peaceful to just like, every single time I pull up to my house, I'll like get out of my car and I'll just stand there for a second. And it's just like, take a deep breath. It feels good to just be.
Whereabouts are you again?
I'm in Long Island.
I know it's big. No,
it's big.
Where am I?
It's a town called Syosset.
I guess, yeah.
Well, not that you would know, but it feels like a good distance from the city.
And you have everything like you need there, like
yeah, my whole life is there.
No, I'm saying like within like a certain radius though, in terms of like you go to the store, you go to the restaurants, like you don't have to leave and come to the city ever aside from work.
No, yeah. Everything I need is there. Built my whole life there. I have all my like go-to spots, like my bagel spot. And, like convenience store, all those things.
Yeah, your convenience store spot. It's not the local Sev, or like...
No, it's actually, I don't really know. I'd say that.
Convenience store.
No, I just mean like I have my spots. Like I know where to go when I need.
Yeah, I hear you. You're comfortable. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm comfortable there and I'm happy. And I'm like,
that's good,
I'm
man.
Never going back to the city.
No, especially with a family. Why would you? Like, there's no reason to come back into the city.
Well, there are people that stay here and have families in the city, and it's a whole different type of lifestyle.
Yeah, it's
expensive. I mean, it's fucking expensive to have.
Because you'd be in an apartment, but you need a few bedroom spot, like, and you probably want to be somewhere where, again, like, I just couldn't imagine having kids in New York.
Yeah,
and having them like, bro, there's no. I see people with dogs, like it's like they're walking their dogs. There's dog shit on the sidewalk and stuff, and it's one of those things where like, where can the dog go run? Like there's no.
They have dog runs. They have things like that.
I see like the little parks, but like nothing. I know there's Central Park, but like
it's not the same. You're right.
No, it's.
Look, what I'd say is this: like I have friends that grew up in the city, and there are benefits to it. One is like if you're a kid growing up in the city, like it's exciting.
It's cool. Yeah.
You know what I mean? You're like we used to back in the day when I was in high school. We used to take the train into the city to go out at night when like sophomore, freshman, sophomore, junior, senior of high school. I think the other thing though is also like they definitely get exposed to like way more culture than like than like people in the burbs and like the burbs. But again, like I just think the pros far outweigh the cons of living in the suburbs. Like obviously I'm biased at this point, but
yeah, I think that's an interesting point you made though in terms of like people living in the city with their kids and the kids being experienced or getting to experience more culture compared to the burbs. Like, obviously for me, living in 6 different countries, I feel like I was immersed in all sorts of different cultures. So like I would have got that from my own thing, but I never considered the fact that, again, someone living in like a New York City or a Toronto or whatever spot that would be, is experiencing all sorts of different cultures.
Think about like the museums, think about like the different restaurants and the cuisines, think about all the different, it's a little
bit different though, no? Like in terms of like, for example, like living in Dubai and like experiencing like Arabic firsthand and the Muslim culture firsthand and all that versus like experiencing that in New York.
Yeah.
A little bit, but not to.
No, it's very different.
But I hear you. Yeah, melting pot of. But no, at the end of the day, New York's a fucking great city, best city in the world. But yeah, short stints. Yeah.
Well, I'm happy that you're here. I'm happy that we can do this in person. Yeah. One day, maybe they'll all be in person. That would be fantastic.
Yeah.
Another thing that's kind of like we're in now is it's fall. You know what I mean? Like
it's nice weather here,
bro.
When does fall start for you?
Fall starts for me. Like I don't track like the calendar.
Yeah, I actually don't even know what
first week of September.
Bro, I actually think that. No one call me on this. I actually think that fall starts September 21st, which is today. That day, just like
get out of here.
I want to say again, it could be completely off. I don't follow the calendars, but for some reason, September 21st is in my mind on the day fall starts.
I wish you didn't say September 21st is today because when this podcast goes out, like a month and a half from now,
we'll be not going in the next couple of weeks. But
to me, fall starts the first football game that is on television, like the first college football game. I'm like, all right,
college, okay, not the NFL.
Yeah, no, yeah. I mean, I guess no college.
What about kids going back? Like, so okay, so what's your fall? Like, what does it being fall mean for you now?
A couple of things. One is, I get very excited about the weather changing, and
really,
like I love summer, but by the time like we get to fall, I'm like ready to put a hoodie on. And that's just like. I don't have my hoodie right now.
No, but you're wearing a long sleeve and it's like very hot. I was thinking about wearing shorts.
Yeah, I like at a certain point I'm just like I can't wear t-shirts anymore, and I'm like hoodie season is my favorite. So that's one part of it. But I guess the biggest thing is kind of like getting back into the routine. Like my kids go back to school. It's kind of like going back to the grind a little bit. And I feel kind of. 2 ways about that. One is like I embrace the seasons. You know what I mean? Like
you're a 4-season guy. Like you want to sit spot with.
Yeah, there's some people that like are
only like warmth in summer. Like
they move to Florida and then they're like, oh, isn't it so much better? Like it's warm all year round. And I feel like for me, I appreciate the changing of the seasons because like I don't know. I think it would get boring if it was just warm all the time. And then it also gives you that appreciation for like when all of a sudden the flowers start to come out and the plants start to bloom in the spring, like, oh, I love that. And it gives you, like I said, it gives you that appreciation, like when you're in the doldrums of winter and it's just fucking miserable.
Yeah.
But I also kind of like winter. I like being inside. I like the snow. I like the
it's comforting. The fire, like putting a fire, have a hot chocolate. Yeah. To me though, winter is. I feel like my winter is very different than the New York winter.
Yeah.
But it's one of those things where like, I'm down with it and like it from November to December. And then like kind of once like Christmas and the holidays happens, once New Year's rolls along, like, get me back to the warm weather. Like,
Yeah.
I love it. Don't get like super good vibes. ODR, outdoor rink, playing a little hockey on the pond, some proper Canadian stuff. But ODR, you never heard of that? It's funny. Like, so when I moved to Edmonton, one of the first things someone asked me, because I moved in the winter in like February, someone's like, "Oh, like, do you want to go to the ODR after school?" And I'm like, "ODR?" Like, I'm like, bro, like, what is that? Are you kidding? Like, the reaction I got, ODR, are you kidding? And he was like, the outdoor rink. And I'm like, I've never even heard of that. Like, and he was just like, I'm like, I've been calling it ice hockey. He's like, bro, we're in Canada. It's hockey. You don't need to say ice hockey. And so, yeah, the ODR was kind of, ever since I moved to Canada, the outdoor rink. So if you're
kind of obnoxious when somebody has an acronym that they expect you to know.
Yeah. I guess not many. No, I guarantee, honestly, at the school that I was at the time, the junior high, I can like pretty confidently say that no one else had moved from Dubai to that school in like the middle of the winter, let alone probably ever. Right. So like, which is fair expectation. But yeah, I think that my other comment on the fall is around the fact that I think fall would be the best season, just with the leaves changing and like it's beautiful, if winter wasn't around the corner. Because one of those things where like you kind of take fall with a grain of salt, because it's like everyone's like, yeah, it's so beautiful, the leaves are changing, like, it's getting a little colder, let me throw on a jacket, but like it's good vibes. But winter is coming. It's always like with that, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, because like every time I feel like when you step outside and you feel that first like brisk air, you're like, ooh, this is nice, like let me go put on my hoodie. But then it's kind of like in the back of your mind you're also thinking like, Game of Thrones, like winter's coming.
Yeah.
Like you start to be like, oh shit, like, doom ahead, doom.
Yeah.
But it's, I think I would wrap it up by just saying, I think the Four Seasons is like core to the human experience.
I would agree.
You know what I mean?
At least
like,
at some point, yeah.
And I've been thinking a lot of just about like the calendar, and I'll touch on this later on, kind of like when we talk about the takeaways of just like somebody invented, like the week, and it's Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and then it's just like you do it over again, and it's just a lot of times I'm like, I feel like it's Groundhog's Day where I'm just waking up, it's the same thing over and over again, and but like without the seasons, without that, like those weeks, like,
it really would be like that.
I'd just be waking up each day and it'd just be like, there's no end in sight. Like, it would be kind of like crazy. So shout out to whoever invented
you shout
like the calendar and the seasons and like the word and the days of the week.
Yeah, okay. Why would you keep 5 days work week?
No, I mean, obviously I would not.
There's countries that are exploring 4. There's countries that are doing 4 right now.
I know. I don't think that I don't think we'll ever get to that point.
In North America? In the U.S., definitely.
Not North America.
In the U.S. Not in New York. I'll say that the grind is glorified here. We're talking about that earlier.
People are addicted to it.
I mean, in like Europe, most European countries, but like specifically Italy, everyone takes the month of August off. Yeah. Like, you shouldn't, if you really want like the touristy stuff, you can go, but like any local place is August fully off, bro.
The problem,
which I respect.
I respect that too. The problem is everybody's got to be on the same page about it. You know what I mean?
I agree.
And that's the thing. There's too many. There are too many people here that are, like, okay, fine, yeah, you want to do that, sure, but I'm gonna fucking work 7 days a week, and then it's just like, all right, well, if he's working 7 days,
I gotta work at least 5.
I gotta work at least 5, exactly.
Yeah. Well, no, man. Should we get into the segments?
Yeah, let's do it.
Segment number 1 is an idea you've had.
I think we might have taken the idea, we're taking a week off of the ideas last week.
Did you do a half-baked?
I don't know. I don't remember it, but my idea comes from something that happened this past week, which is it kind of like re-jogged my memory on something. And it's like, it's a really half-baked idea because I haven't thought through like the mechanics of it, but I'll tell the story. The story is that I was at work and my wife called me and she's like, I got a flat tire and like, I don't know what to do. Like, can you send me your AAA like information? So I have a AAA card because I guess like I never really learned how to change a tire, and like I was just like, and I remember one time I tried to, and it was like the most manual, like I couldn't even believe that like this is what I have to do to change a tire. I was on like the side of the road. I had like shit all over my hands because
Yeah,
it was like black, like coal, like whatever, like soot. And I'm just like, this is ridiculous. And so she calls me up and she's like, I have the flat tire, like, give me your AAA stuff. I give her my information. She calls me back. She's like, I'm not on your policy. She's so pissed off at me. She's like, what am I going to do? And ultimately, like, she called like an auto shop and somebody came and they changed, they put on like the spare,
yeah.
whatever. And what it made me think is like, how how are we so advanced technologically and yet we haven't figured out a way in which a tire is doesn't have to be put on and like jacked up and like rolled in. I was just like, it's ridiculous.
Do you know what's interesting though? Because initially, because we did talk about
Yeah.
that, initially I'm thinking like, yeah, like that makes a lot of sense. Like, why is that not a thing? But then just now when you were saying it, my mind goes to, and this is with some other things that I think about just that in terms of inefficiencies in life, but it's like the reason that that's probably not the case is because it's not cost effective. Like the markups that they would make on cars to actually have that implementation in every single car
Yeah.
versus the markup that they would be able to charge on those cars, it's probably not cost effective for them to do that. So even though they could make an advancement, it like doesn't make sense as a business decision.
First off, you're ruining my idea.
Sorry, but you got a headset?
Yeah, kind of, but like
No,
also
it's
like
bro. I mean,
listen, there's going to be a point at which, and okay, so the idea is this, right? They should have cars where when you get a flat tire, you press a button, boop, it takes the tire that's there, it puts it into whatever your trunk, and then
Trump.
like whatever, it shoots it up into like the bottom of your car or like into your trunk. Okay, and then it puts it on. It's in. That's it. You just press a fucking button and the tire goes in. Why am I having to risk my life to go on a highway to the side of the road and like having to? It just doesn't make any sense. And so that's the idea. Is there's got to be a better way.
I like that idea, and I agree with that.
Well,
I'm just telling you why.
You're already debunking my idea
no,
before
I
I
think
even
that's
said the idea.
no. I had a thought. I'm like, shit, like, yeah, okay, but that actually wouldn't make sense for them. Like, it's just like,
It wouldn't make sense for them.
well, it's like because of the cost, because the amount that it would cost to do do something like that versus the amount that they could charge you, the consumer, more for that wouldn't make sense because it probably be.
The amount that they could charge you, the consumer, more because
So I'm saying right now,
they charge you for that feature
that's,
in the car.
That's what I'm saying, but I'm just saying that like, let's say a car's 40 grand, what you're talking about, and like all these things probably cost another 10, 15, 20, right? I guess you could try to charge someone 25, 30, 40K for that add-on, but at the end of the day, like who's paying? Most people know how to change tires. Who's paying 30 grand for an add-on?
Most people aren't changing tires.
That's fair, but who's paying 30K for a tire changing add-on?
I honestly I don't know if they're paying 30K, but I think somebody has to make this feature. And then at some point, it becomes every car comes with that feature. You know what I mean? Like,
so
it gets to
where they just need to get costs down, probably.
Yeah,
figure it out.
Let's start by doing it for people that can afford it, just to test it out.
I mean, it's kind of like the electric cars, like Tesla.
Exactly.
Like, yeah, I don't see why Tesla like doesn't implement something like that.
You could say that you could have said the same thing for like the whole smart, phone features on like the Tesla screen, like all of those types of features, any feature, right? Like that they add to a car.
Yeah.
Why would they do it? It's because you're trying to make a better product.
Trying to innovate, yeah. But those features to me seem like easily enough and cheap enough to integrate.
Yeah.
Your idea doesn't, but like that's why I'm saying that's probably what, because it makes sense. Like, why hasn't someone?
Well, like I said, it's half baked. I haven't.
No, but
the
mechanics. I mean, well, it goes back to like what this is aside, and this is actually a half baked idea. But I was just thinking, like, I'm a big golfer.
Yeah.
the amount of golf balls like players lose in a year is ridiculous. Like you barely hit it in the woods, and you're like, "Where's my ball?" You're kind of walking in, you're like, "Where is it?" I was just like, "Why doesn't?"
Oh, man. What an amateur doesn't put his phone on silent.
Uh,
Not editing that out.
let me do that. I shouldn't be on there. Uh, that's ridiculous. It didn't ring on my phone, but it rang on my computer. No, the point that I was trying to make as an amateur podcaster, obviously right now, is that like for the golf balls, I should easily be able to see where my golf ball is. So why don't they put like
Tracking device.
yeah, tracking device in golf balls, or like what is that where we have air the little why am I drawing a blank? What Apple has?
What, like a pin? Like it drops a pin?
No, like the air tags. Air tags. Yeah, why aren't there like air tags in golf balls? And so I'd have an app and I'd be able to, ring my ball and my ball would be right and I'd be able to dig in the bush and find it.
It's a good idea. By the
But
way, it's bound to happen.
no, well, so I don't think it is. And here, this might be confidential, but like the reason that like that's not going to happen is because it's not
Right.
cost effective.
They want to lose the ball so that you
Yeah,
buy more balls.
and it costs too much to make these balls. And again, they don't feel like they have individuals who are willing to pay again $100 a ball or whatever the cost would be.
Yeah.
And also I actually heard
maybe there's something you could put on. You know what I mean?
but then like what about the striking? Like I just don't know.
I
No, yeah, that could be interesting. Yeah, something like a sleeve to the ball and then you could still hit it, but it's a tracking. But I heard the Titleist, who was like the biggest manufacturer of golf balls, actually has a patent on tracking devices in golf balls. So they own the rights to that,
and they'll
but
never do it.
they'll never do it. Yeah. Yeah, because again, they sell so many
Yeah.
so they wanted to make a patent on that. They have it because people are always like, why is this not a thing?
Yeah.
It's not a thing because they have a patent on it.
It's like my water bottle label idea, right? Like the water bottle.
This could be all idea.
The companies aren't going to do it because they want people to just throw out the bottles. But actually, what is your idea? Don't you have a half?
Yeah, I do.
Right,
I do have an idea.
We're already at like 45.
My idea and is around a what did I call it? It's like a whatever. It's I'll just talk through my idea. I had a name for it, but my phone ringing threw me off. So my idea is like I'm not a big. I obviously live not at home anymore, and I hate going to the grocery store because I always walk in, and I don't like I have maybe a list of like a few things that I know I need to get. Most of the time, like I don't know what I want, but it's also annoying to me because I don't want to spend a lot of time there.
Yeah.
I want to be in and out, but I'm like having to walk down 7 aisles and looking up like, oh, eggs is in this aisle. I'm like, oh, where the fuck is bread? Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so my idea is around an app where I can plug it or however it works. Now, whatever it is, I don't, again, just like your idea, we don't know the mechanics of it, but I plug in everything that I'm looking for at the grocery store that day. So milk, cheese, egg, bread, whatever. I have 10 things on my list. And as I'm going to the grocery store, it recognizes which one I'm going into, and it gives me the best route to take to get all my items on my list and leave in the most timely way. So like, okay, go up this aisle, bread, then loop back for your eggs. Then you got what I'm saying?
Yeah. So a couple questions. One, do you not go to the same supermarket every time?
Not every time, no.
Okay. Because when I go, like I know exactly where I'm going, but
you also probably have 20 more years of going to the supermarket than me.
True. 20. Okay.
I mean, am I wrong? Maybe not 20, maybe 15.
I don't know. I think it's based on like, I
like to start
here for a couple of years and then I've gone to the supermarket this many times, so I know where everything is. I like the idea in the sense of this. When I go to the supermarket, if I don't have that list, I just go up and down the aisles. And then at that point, I'm just like, I have no discipline. So I'm just like randomly like, oh, that looks good. I'll just take that. And I'm just like, I'll take that. And next thing I know, I'm just buying shit that I don't need because I just went down the aisle. Like
and you saw something.
I went on, a supermarket shopping spree.
That's funny.
I said to you before that I was like, oh, it's kind of like, Waze for shopping. And you said you had never heard of Waze, which is amazing. I guess it's not like a
thing everywhere, but maybe Waze could implement something.
Yeah, but like Google Maps or like whatever for like the shortest route. I think it's an interesting idea. I think it's an interesting idea. I don't think it's one of your better ideas.
What's my best idea?
You know what? I think your best idea. I like the one of like being in the being doing the AI, like being
AI
a
into
trial.
media.
Yeah,
Yeah,
AI in media.
yeah, that was the best one. Okay.
Yeah,
Okay. Um,
but
yeah,
it's interesting. I
AI
like.
can't be human.
I
So
think it's a creative thought, and there's definitely some positive,
yeah,
benefits to doing that.
I honestly think with, let's say we've done, you said we didn't do ideas on the last one, like we've done 11 episodes.
Yeah,
Let's say we've each thrown out 10 ideas. So we've got 20 half-baked ideas between the two of us. Anything that's not already a product, like your bug making one or whatever, like sure, cancel it out. But I would say 15 out of 20 of them, like maybe mechanically in the tech would need to be figured out. But I think they're all real things. From me, you know what we should do after
what
this? We should go back through all of them
rank
and
them?
like rank them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What is a show that you've watched recently that has caught your attention?
Yeah, so the show, and I just watched the first episode, and there's four episodes. It's on Netflix. It's called Live to 100 Blue Zones, or like a Life to 100, something around that. It's relatively new, and yeah, I saw it pop up on trending on Netflix, and I'm like, that's super interesting. Because I've always been fascinated by like, just biohacking and all that stuff, like trying to live longer.
Yeah.
And so yeah, I watched the first episode, and essentially this guy, he's the host. His name's Dan Gudner, I don't know. And what he does is there's five blue zones across the world, and blue zones are essentially where um towns or cities in all different spots of the world where they have the five longest lifespans. And so the first episode that I watched was the city in Japan, Okinawa.
Yeah.
And so I'm not sure. I think there's four episodes right now. So he must have missed one blue zone. So I'm excited to get into the next one. But essentially, what it is like he goes into Okinawa and kind of like integrates with the locals and sees like, what they're doing, what makes them live longer, why they're so happy, all these things. And so the few, I don't want to spoil it too much because like I actually want you to watch it.
Yeah.
And I think, and it's 30-minute episode, like so
Right.
it's easily digestible. But some things that I thought were interesting was around like they would talk about the climate there and like how that is an impact. Okinawa doesn't get very cold. It's kind of it's like close to a body of water. Like there's again some factors there. They really go into like diet and the like superfoods they're eating and all that. And then again go back. The one of the biggest things was the mental health piece and kind of what they're doing to stay happy, stay fulfilled, and how that actually, and I think you even sent me something a long time ago, right? It's like, what do people regret the most when they die? Or like, what is the biggest killer of people? And it's something around like, do you know what I'm talking about? You sent me, like, it's something around, like, it's something around the fact that like people aren't happy with their relationships or people aren't happy with their mental health. And that's why they don't live as long because it's such mentally
Oh, that was the
fatigued.
TED Talk thing where it's like
Yeah,
the relationships,
yeah, the relationships one.
relationships.
And not that was strictly brought up, but it's one of those things where like again between diet, climate, and their mental health, and there's a couple other things that I won't spill.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why Okinawa is a blue zone, and I'm curious to get into the next one. So
Well, it's funny because like when I
it's
think
tough.
of like Okinawa,
Okinawa.
it's like I'm like trying to picture it in my head, and like I could see how people would live longer there because like when I envision it, it's like yeah, they're probably near water. There's probably no pollution. It's probably peaceful. They
They're
probably
very
have really good diets. They're probably like it's a lot of like farming their own foods. They're going for walks with the what are the pink like those like flower
cherry
trees.
blossoms.
Yeah, like everything's beautiful. Like
It
they
is, yeah.
have that music that's so peaceful. You know what I mean? Like they
Yeah,
do all these things. Um, and then I contrast it with like New York City, where it's
for
like
sure.
I'm sure people
Yin
are
and
just having
yang.
heart attacks and like just like it's so stressful that it makes sense. And I think it's interesting. I definitely want to check it out because I could see how that would be the case in a lot of different places. Yeah, I even think of like it's funny like when you think of Italy, right? Like when you're thinking about Italian food here, like people are like eating like these big pasta
Yeah,
dishes and the prep, but like they're so fit there and they're eating the same food, but they eat like such smaller portions and they're drinking wine and it's like a whole different lifestyle. And they're like in the great shape and they live like long
yeah.
lives.
It's interesting you say that because I saw a tweet recently that made me laugh, but it's like one of those things where yeah, people are always talking about like, okay, yeah, I go to Italy. I ate like, all this food, but like the quality of ingredients and
Right.
all these things. And that's definitely the case. But the tweet was super funny. It was like, yeah, like it was making a joke around, yeah, like Sharon, we get it. Like you went to Italy, you ate all this good food, the ingredients are better, whatever. But like the reason that you lost weight going to Italy and eating the same is not because, the quality of ingredients or all these things. It's because in Italy, again, I don't know if you've been or when the last time
Yes.
you were,
You
but
gotta
you're
walk.
walking so far, you're exercising every day so much. Sharon's ordering DoorDash here with a big bowl of pasta, and
Right.
not so that's like, or you skip the dishes or whatever. So that's the difference in terms of like the level of activity
Right.
that
You're
you're
both
doing all
eating
the time.
pasta, except there you're like walking through the
Yeah, you're
countryside
getting
to
your
like
workout
go
for the fresh pasta and pasta
the
pasta.
pasta.
But yeah, I thought that tweet was funny.
I gotta check out that show. That sounds right up.
What's yours?
So mine was so basically I was watching a bunch of social clips and I started getting hit with a bunch of funny clips from stand-up specials from Shane Gillis,
Well,
who has a Netflix special called Beautiful Dogs. I kind of
dogs like Theo,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
not like dogs.
No. And
People dogs.
no, not like that. Basically there were funny clips and I was like, okay, like I gotta check out the full special on Netflix. I kind of knew a little bit about Shane Gillis just because like Joe Rogan, he's been on it, and like kind of, I follow like a little bit of the stand-up like circuit and I'm
Okay.
into, comedy and that sort of thing. I also know a little bit about like his backstory. So do you know like kind of any
I don't
about his
know.
backstory? He basically got canceled at one point. He got onto Saturday Night Live. They hired him and then they like very, very promptly fired him. And it was because they kind of like once he got hired, somebody went back into like his, his content and found some like off color remarks that he
Sure.
made in podcasts
It's
and
funny.
and he basically just got fired like right away. And he was like, look, I've said some fucked up shit like in my past, like, and that's what happened. So he kind of like went away for a while, but then he's a very funny guy. And so, I'd never seen his stand up before. I watched this stand up and I really enjoyed it. And he kind of reminds me of Danny McBride, just kind of like his delivery, the way he talks. Like he must be
Right.
from the South. I should have looked that up, but like,
Yeah.
or like he's got like, some sort of like drawl to his voice but his delivery is amazing. And I think the thing that's interesting about him is kind of like it almost feels like this guy's having a moment because the pendulum has swung the other way, where it's like he's still provocative and he still has like off color
Mark.
kind of like humor,
Yeah.
Um, I think people find it refreshing now because like
Because we went the other
we
way.
over indexed into
Yeah.
everything being
I
so
see.
woke and whatever
Yeah.
and all this shit. And now it's like people want, comedy that's just unfiltered.
Yeah.
And so, it was really good. There's one bit that that really just like killed me, and I'm not gonna like ruin it or spoil it, but
Sure.
it was about like white people not being cool, and then like the last time that white people were cool,
Yeah.
and it's
Which
like
was what?
he's basically saying the last time was like when like in the movies or like when people used to be like, oh, see,
Yeah.
like when white people had that accent,
Yeah.
like the old timey. And so there's this incredible bit around that the last time white people were cool was when we had that voice. But then the day that we lost it was Jackie Robinson's first game. And I'm not going to ruin
Yeah.
that joke. That's the bit. Like, we'll get the clip for it. But just a lot of very, very funny, self-deprecating humor, a lot of like self-deprecating stuff about white people in
Sure.
general.
Yeah.
And he's just very funny and like I said, unfiltered. And to me, I don't know. I'm always looking for like that next great kind of
Comedian.
stand up. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm a big like the last great one I think I saw before this was Nate Bargatze, who I don't know if I've ever told you about him before.
No.
That's my guy. I'll put you onto him another time. But yeah, Shane Gillis, check that out.
Okay. Shane, and is it just one like episode?
It's just a special,
Just
one special. Yeah, yeah. I think he has his own podcast too. But yeah, check that out. It's on Netflix.
speaking of podcasts, you got a podcast.
I do have a podcast. Yeah. So I was listening to actually shout out to G Dub. He put me onto this podcast. And we've talked about both of these guys before, but it was Theo Vaughn's podcast this past weekend.
Okay.
And he had on our guy Duncan Trussell.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. And
it was good.
It's so good.
What they cover?
I'll tell you, like, there are kind of like two or three things that stick out to me. One is just like they do this thing where like they're obviously comedians, so like they'll make some sort of joke or they'll like talk about a subject and then they'll improv and just like riff back and forth on something, and it's just so funny. It's hard for me to explain that, but like they'll just go down a rabbit hole where they'll each be going back and forth, just kind of like making jokes off of the same thing. And that part of it, I just loved, again, like from like a comedy standpoint. So that's one. The second thing that I loved about it was they talked about aliens.
Yeah,
and UFOs, right up my alley. But the thing is,
what was the take?
It was more so in, again, like in a comedic way
versus like
like they were talking about all the recent shit, all like the recent stories, but they kind of got delved into more on like the why would aliens be coming here, you know? And like did
they get into any? Because you had that theory to study us.
Yeah, and so they touch on it kind of, and like they're theorizing on different ways. There's one part of it where they're talking about like, you know, maybe they're just coming as like spectators. You know what I mean? Like maybe like they basically say like maybe like, you know, in wherever these aliens are from, like you know, if an alien like graduates from alien high school, like their family takes them here to Earth the same way you would take your kid to like a Six Flags. Right?
That's funny.
You know, to watch all the fucking the crazy animals on Earth.
That's hilarious.
Yeah. And so whenever you hear something like that, it kind of opens your mind, because really there is any sort of number of reasons why, like, yeah, they could be coming here because, you know, all of the things that people have thought about in the past, where it's like they want to attack us, and you know what I mean? Like they don't want to do that, or they want to study us, or they're doing it for anthropological reasons or whatever. Or maybe they're just doing it for the fuck of it, just like because they know like we're so crazy, and it's like the best reality show there is to go down to Earth and watch the fucking circus act that's going down on this planet, you know?
And how long, like in terms of the podcast, how long they talk about it?
Like they're literally jumping in and out. And so I guess the third part of why I really liked it is like with everything with Duncan, and I think like this is the reason I love Duncan so much, is that he's so funny, but then he can go back and forth between stuff that's really funny and then stuff that's like really introspective. Super layered. And there's this one like part of it, so I'm like listening to it, I'm like entertained, and I'm like, you know, there's all these different things, and then there's this like really kind of like heartfelt moment where he's basically like, well, here's an idea, and he's talking just about people and how they evolve, and he's talking about how, well, maybe like we're evolving, and like, you know, like we're fine as we are, you know, and like and maybe like part of our evolution is having the ability to just be happy in the moment that you're in, and like, and not always be looking to that like that future moment in which that's when you'll be happy, you know?
I think that
I might have said there's a clip online that like where it's that moment, and it's one of those moments that just fucking hit me because I always like lose track of that. And I'm always having to remind myself, like, I always fall into that trap of, oh, if I just had this much more money, I'd be happy. Or if I just had this, job, or if I just could do this, I'd be, and it's not, and like, and then you're always fucking reminded that actually that's not what makes you happy, like
No.
getting to that next thing. Um, and so it really resonated with me. I'm like, oh shit. And I
Yeah,
like
yeah.
paused it and I like wrote it down.
Shit.
And he's just talking about like all the best parts of you
Yeah, yeah.
and all the worst parts of you, like just being able to come to accept, that that is what kind of like it means to evolve is to just learn how to be happy in just the moment that you're in. So yeah,
I think that's super interesting though, because like I keep seeing it more and more just with conversations that I'm having or questions that I'm asking certain people in my life. But like it's one of those things where most of us, and like I'm guilty of it too, like always need something to look forward to.
yeah,
You know what I mean? It's like and so and even here a couple times, man. Like I had some initial questions that I would be asked is like, what are you looking forward to most for the next month? Or, what are you looking forward to most from now to the new year? And it's one of those things where like, there's a few things I'm definitely looking forward to, but like it's like why can't I just be like in the right now? And yeah, man, I think that like it's dangerous, not a dangerous game, but like it's tough to live your life always needing to book that trip or have that
yeah,
planned or do that thing where like you always like, I'm looking forward to 3 Saturdays from now because I'm going
yeah.
to so and so and so and I empathize with it. And I'm like that too. Like I'm the same way. I that's how I live my life
Bro,
too.
I
And
struggle with that.
I mean, I always do want to have something to look forward to. It's like I remember back in the, like you finish summer as a kid and you go back to school and like summer you were just chilling and you had vacation all that. You look forward to hanging out with your friends again with school, but if, like other than that, no trips planned, no nothing. Christmas is a long time away. It's like shit. I really got nothing to look forward to in the next couple months. Like,
I know, and
and
you
it's
know
tough.
what? I think I said it to my wife the other day, like, and it was in a moment where like I was just feeling down, where it was like I sometimes do feel that way, like I don't have anything to look forward to, and like I think I think the thing that like sometimes I grapple with is just being content with like what my situation is,
Yeah,
like just like being and like then there are times where the reverse where I'm like, I'm happy. Like I'm walking into my house and
yeah,
I see my kids, like I've got, beautiful family, I'm healthy pretty much, like I'm I'm not like in like the Ukraine where, what I mean?
yeah.
Like not in war, like things are okay. And it's hard sometimes to just snap out of your own little bubble and be appreciative of the good things in life,
Yeah. I it's interesting you say that too, because I think like my perception changed as of recent in the sense that instead of looking forward to, you know, traveling or certain things, I'm more the way I see it now is I'm more looking forward to building relationships in terms of like building the relationship with Jules or building the relationship continuing with my mom or my
Yeah.
family or my friends, like just constantly, being around the people that I want to be around and the people I love. And so that's like how my thing has kind of changed, like how I saw myself looking forward to certain things in the past and how that's kind of changed it. I still, again, still look forward to things, but it's just different.
Yeah. Sometimes you could also just change like it doesn't have to be these big things. Like now I look forward to like my coffee in the morning.
Yeah.
A
Life
basketball
is
game,
about
my
the little
baseball
things.
game. Yeah, like
Life
on
is about the little
Wednesday.
things.
Which, by the way,
Yeah, like
I played pretty good last night.
yeah, you did.
Yeah. Let's talk social content creators, trends. What do you got?
Yeah, I got two content creators who like I've followed them both for a decent amount of time now. But just like in terms of the editing skills, the videography, like the content. as of recent, I'm like, fuck, I gotta shut these guys up because they're like the last piece of content these guys put out, I was like, again, it's like right in the genre that I'd be looking to watch. So like I resonated with it, but I'm like, this is fucking amazing. But I'll start with the one guy. We actually did some work. I worked him before. He came out to Vegas to help film Wildcard Game when we shot that back in Vegas in April. And Jack Cook, his like, I see him on IG, but it's like underscore HJ Cook. And he is the guy. I don't know if you've ever seen this guy. He does daily vlogs, and so of just of his life, and he's been doing them for 700 plus days now. So he's hit, consistently like Christmas Day, whatever June for whatever day, like 700 plus days, like fully edited, like
Oh shit.
what he's making for breakfast, bang, going in these meetings, bang, traveling, doing all these things. Like, bro, just like I've always thought that, day in the life content is interesting. And the way that like he is a videographer and does that for a living. And so like the way he's able to like record stuff and, mash his day together, like again, it could be the most bro, he's done this for 700 days. And
Yeah.
every one that I've seen, I'm like, yeah, I'm like, this is well done. This is interesting. So yeah, his daily vlogs where he does like, yeah, he's on day 702 right now, for example. If I were you, I'd check him out.
What is it like consistent? Like what is his is it I'm assuming that's like his job, right? Is to like be like a videographer or
Yeah, but
content creator?
content creator, but like he does like, he is a videographer, he does editing, he does work for like a bunch of different people. And so his day consists of like, again, like he lives in LA, he's waking up, he's making breakfast, whatever. He's maybe going to the gym today, maybe he has to go pick up his dry cleaning, then he's going to the airport because he's got to fly here. And he's meeting like not every day is like that, but
Yeah.
yeah, it's just again, he lives like a pretty not a, but he lives like an averageist life. He's just like a fucking great editor
Uh-huh.
and great content creator. But that's not his job is not to content create. His job is kind of behind the scenes, from my understanding.
I'm always amazed by people like that just because like to do it so consistently every single day,
Every
like
day.
there are days where I wake up where I'm just
No, like yeah, today you
tomorrow.
can.
Yeah, tomorrow.
Yeah, so the
Not
fact
today. Today
and like the amount of work that would go into all the like again, if you watch a few of them, you'd see like it's not just like he can turn it on, record for like a couple minutes, edit it up, and be done. Like bro, this is a timely thing each day. And so him to hit over 700 days, what? That's almost 2 years.
Yeah. You know what it also makes me think of? You ever see those like things where it's like, oh, this guy took a picture of his daughter every single day
For
for
like
20 years.
yeah, like and she's finally
Yeah,
graduated.
they
It's like
show like
the evolution.
thing, and all I'm thinking is like, first off, like that would be terrible to be that guy's daughter, just like every single day. It's like, honey, come here, like I'm gonna take a picture of you.
Well, how
for
has
this
she been there for
project.
every single day for 20? Like,
I don't know. And then also just like how I don't know. There has to be something like you have to be wired some sort of way where it's like, okay, time to take the picture.
like every day at 9 a.m.
Yeah,
like an army fan.
Yeah, every single day, and like there would definitely be days I was just like, fuck it.
Yeah, no point in taking a photo today.
Right. Like I'm not into it. So there's something impressive, I guess, about like just that consistency
and the quality too. But yes, the consistency is very impressive. And my other one, this guy Sohail Var is his thing. Again, we'll plug it. I think it's Sohail.var, but he's from Canada and he documented his journey like to playing pro footy and has been like again, yeah, I guess it goes back to consistency, but has been like shooting stuff for like 3, 4 years. And like, if you follow his shit 4 years ago, like he was the king again, not to diss him, but like he was the king of average. Like he was, didn't make a college team, like wasn't good. Like you've seen the videos of him. And so, and then just like with the amount of work he put in, like he's showing himself in the gym, like showing himself on the field, like all these things, the ups and downs, traveling, taking a chance, like bro, just like showing his life, like to try to play pro footy over like a 4 year span. And then as of recent, I saw it like maybe a week ago, but he ended up getting a gig playing Div 2 and he's in Dubai and getting played and he's playing pro and they got promoted. And so they got promoted. He's in League One, more money, all this. But they decided not to re-sign him. And so it's like an overlay of like the sporting director calling him and like, yeah, so he'll like, we know all the work you put in over the last however many years. Like, we appreciate, your last season, but like, we won't be bringing you back, like all these things. And it kind of overlays that over like him, like all the work he's put in, like him in the gym, him on the field, early mornings, late nights, like everything he's doing. And with this overlay of like, we're not bringing you back. And it's just like, yeah, that piece of content like kind of hit me hard. I'm like, holy shit, like this is so cool because it's showing like his journey, but it's also showing like overlaying that major setback and like, this specifically wasn't meant to be. And he's like, and I was just kind of like, shit, like, is this the end for him? Like, he's probably gonna give up. The guy's like getting older, like all these things. And like he's like, no, like this is still the fucking beginning. Like, just like that piece of content, I was like, this is amazing. I gotta talk about it. I'll send you that specific video.
Kind of
You gotta see it.
It sounds like a great like storytelling type
Amazing
you know what
storytelling.
I mean?
Yeah.
Like, okay, he doesn't make it in that regard, but like it seems like he could be a I don't know, like he could make films. You know what I mean? Like he can
Yeah,
make
he's got like a social
content.
media. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. He'll go big in the content world after he does the soccer thing.
It's sometimes like that's the thing that I think gets lost in all this is like, oh, it's a content creator, like, somebody that's on social that's like doing this or doing that. And like what people don't realize is like the people that are the best at it are the ones that are the best storytellers, the ones that are like
100%.
able to like really do things that elicit emotions that make you
Yeah,
laugh, that make you cry, that make you have these like feelings. And it's so, I don't know, like there's something where you're watching Instagram or TikTok or
yeah,
whatever it is, and like you're not really thinking about it in that way. But like if you took the step back, that's exactly what it is. It's like no different than the way that we've consumed traditional like media and television,
100%.
film, and all these different things. It's just this is the new platform, and this is how it's being done. So
Yeah,
yeah, I will check that out.
yeah, man, I'll send it to you. But yeah, how about you? What's
So I have two creators that kind of do the same thing and that I've been really into. I think the thing that I've been really into lately is I really get a kick out of reaction videos to music. So like people listening to a
for the first
song for
time?
the first time. I mean, there was one I saw the other day, and I wasn't even thinking about telling you about this, but it was like it's funny. I should have told you about it. It was like a Canadian kid and his dad, and
Oh, it's the kid.
maybe in his 20s, and the dad
Okay.
was like, whatever. And he was like, Dad, do you know Tupac? And he was like, Oh, I've heard of this Tupac. Like, I've never heard any of his songs, but like, I've heard the name. And he kept mispronouncing his name, Tupac, like whatever.
Yeah,
He's like, Well, okay, well, I'm going to play you this song of his. And he played him Dear Mama.
yeah,
And he was listening to it, and he was like, Oh my God, this is the most beautiful song. And he was like, the lyrics are just they're so beautiful, like the love for his mother, and like he's got such a manly voice, and this is one of the greatest songs I've ever heard. And it was just like so charming to watch this, like, Canadian
yeah,
dad like
yeah. React to
experience Tupac
for the first time. That's crazy that you
Yeah,
ever experienced that as a dad too.
I
Like,
know, but whatever. And so the two creators though, one is there's this guy named, I think his name is Sheps Gold, and he is this old like dude with like a ponytail,
yeah,
and he's listening to all these like new songs, like rap songs,
yeah,
like not rap stuff, like just like whatever, Tame Impala, like all this different shit. And you could tell he's got like a real like musical background, right?
yeah,
And he'll like listen to it. And so like you're hearing the song, he's got the headphones on, and
yeah.
he's like hearing like the different like things, and then he's able to articulate afterwards like, whoa,
That's
like I
amazing.
love that song, like the way the drum kicks in and the way, and
Yeah, he's like talking through it.
he's
Yeah,
talking, he's like, and then like, and but he's talking about like future, you know what I mean, or he's talking about like I don't know, like just 21 Savage, and
yeah,
it's incredible, and so I really have been digging those. Then there's another guy who I think his name is Screwface Gene. Okay. And the reason I found him is he does the same thing, reaction videos, mostly to rap music, but he he does a lot of them recently to BLP Kosher, the guy that I put you on to.
LP, yeah,
BLP. and he loves BLP, and like he listens to the lyrics, and like and he just like he's so animated and he's so funny, and he'll stop the song and he'll be like, "That's a bar," you know what I mean? He'll be like, "Oh shit!" Like just like every single thing, like he's able to capture every little reference and every little like kind of like all the different wordplay. So I've been really enjoying those. It's funny to me too. I think I might have mentioned this to you around like, it's funny that like, okay, there's like somebody makes a song, right? Then we have this guy on social who's like reacting to the song.
Yeah.
Then like me and you are kind of like I'm giving the commentary of somebody reacting to the song. It's like
it's like this like crazy never ending song.
It's like somebody's gonna do the
reacting
video
to you,
reacting to the guy, reacting to
the other guy. Yeah.
But it is interesting to me how like there could be a song, but then somebody experiencing it for the first time or providing commentary to it, like I'd rather watch that. You know, I'd rather watch that than even the artist talking about his own song. Like
it's more interesting seeing that perspective. Yeah,
it's because you feel like it's more organic and it's more authentic and it's natural. So those are the two creators, and then
check that out.
The trends. I mean, bro, I'm into a lot of random shit, as you know.
Yeah.
And I'm into a lot of like the ASMR content. So I've been watching a lot of videos, and I like put together a whole list of like those different types of videos that I've been checking out.
Yeah.
So I'm just gonna rattle off a few of them, okay? I've definitely liked we talked about like the glasses going down the steps,
like those,
right? Yeah.
8 out of 10.
Have you seen the videos of them? They have like these big water balloons with paint in them, and they'll push them off the side of a building, and then they'll splatter in like all these beautiful colors.
I haven't seen that.
So that's really cool. Then they'll do it the reverse, where they'll roll bottles off a building, and the balloons will be on the ground, and so they'll smash and it'll pop all the balloons.
Okay.
That's cool. I've been watching these ones where they have a metal ball and they roll it down the ramp and it goes and knocks into all the bottles that are like set up, and then eventually it topples down and it smashes. Very satisfying. Have you ever seen any of those?
Yeah.
Okay. So there's a lot of those different types.
I've seen the ones where they're like, you sent those where it's like they're letting go of like a disc.
Yeah.
They're trying to pop the balloons.
Yeah.
Or I don't like those. I don't like that.
What about the ones where it's the jars and they'll like throw it and then it'll go back and forth until it like hits another jar and then
like
everything?
It's like battle of the I've seen guys do like battle of the beers, and like it'll be like Heineken against like a Corona, and like one guy they'll like throw both the things and they're on rope, and then whichever one hits, one of them breaks. Yeah.
So there's a whole genre of all those different types. Then there's a separate genre where it's like time lapse. So rug cleaning, really, really dirty rugs.
Okay.
And
I can see how
then it's like shh, and then they're doing the thing around it, and then eventually like it's like, oh my god, this is a beautiful rug, and it was like started completely like brown and black and just dirty. You couldn't even see it.
So I get the same thing from shoe cleaning.
Shoe cleaning, yeah, and the sounds of it is very satisfying. So there's that. Have you seen the ones where like they go onto a person's lawn and like they're like mowing like and it's again time lapse, so really quickly like somebody will go to a person's house and they'll be like, I see your lawn is like very overgrown, like would you mind if I just cleaned it up for free? And then they just completely like do it, and it's amazing. Like they transform the lawn. Have you ever seen the ones where they unclog a drain on a street?
No.
And then the water like gushes. Yeah. So I have a million of these fucking things. The dog grooming ones. Have you seen the dog grooming ones? So basically the takeaway is that I'm really into random fucking ASMR shit, and like I never knew that about myself, but anytime one of those videos is on, I could just
fully engage.
I can consume it just fully.
I hope they keep popping ASMR videos at you.
Yeah, and we're gonna make a compilation of
you should.
all these different things. So that people know the deal.
No, it's good. Yeah, bro. I feel like that covers all the social stuff for this week. Do you want to should we get in the last segment? Life takeaway.
Life takeaway. I had a couple different things that were kind of like on my mind, but I think the thing that is my life takeaway is like I've been going through like a little bit of like an existential crisis.
Yeah.
Honestly, I almost feel like I'm always going through these things. Like, um, I think maybe it's genetic in a way, like where some days I just wake up and I just feel like these feelings of like despair and like and just like but I think part of it has to do with feeling burnt out and that's another thing that I always kind of feel like I go so hard sometimes on things and there's a lot of contributing factors so like one thing is that I think I take on a lot of responsibilities and I try and do a lot of things at once, which just like
You talking in life? You talking
just
in work?
yeah, in life and in work. Like I'll be working on a couple different projects, and then I'm also trying to do this podcast, and then I'm trying to do something freelance, and then like I'm like coaching, my son's like flag football team, and then somebody asked me, "Do you want to coach your other son's team?" Yeah, sure, I'll do it. And then like somebody's like, "Yo, do you want to read your book at this school, like whatever?" Yeah, I'll do it. And then I'm just like,
Yeah.
why the fuck am I saying yes to all these things? And like, no wonder I'm so exhausted. So basically, by the end of the week, I'm fucking tired. And then I go into the weekend where it's like when you have kids and you have all these activities, and if you're coaching, and I'm more exhausted by the time the weekend is over than the week. So I'm going into the week already tired. And I think like I've what I've realized is like I really, really, really have to make some concerted effort to start doing things for my mental health.
Some stimulates you mentally. Yeah.
Something I think like something that's been on my mind and I've been wanting to do it for 3 years and I still haven't done it is like well no, it's not meditation. Why I've been thinking about meditation is like I kind of want to talk to somebody. Like I want to like go into like
yeah, like a therapist. Yeah.
Yeah. I have all this shit. Like I have all this shit built up that like sometimes I feel like, you know, I have nobody to kind of talk through it with. And I have,
you talk to like your wife?
I talk to my wife about it, but like
it's different.
It's so different. I need somebody that's like just impartial.
Yeah.
I need like some sort of outlet in that way. I need to change a lot of things regarding my health and my diet. And I think all of those things make me feel exhausted and burnt out. And so I guess my takeaway is just like you have to be really, really mindful of like what what are the things that you need to be doing and what are the things that you need to be saying no to? What are the things that you need to be doing to like, you know, basically not kill yourself doing work and like it's nothing is that serious like
No.
the most important thing is your health, right?
Health as well.
And for some reason it always falls on the back burner in both ways, my physical and mental health. So you know the existential crisis is just like I think it's partly feeling burnt out. It's partly this thing that I was talking about earlier, of just like the Groundhog's Day,
Yeah.
just like waking up and every day just feeling kind of the same sometimes. I don't know. I'm a little bit of a mess sometimes, and like
yeah, I think you should definitely try to talk to someone like help.
I know, and that's what I'll do. And once I find that person that I talk to, and I start doing the therapy stuff, I'll report back and let you know how that's going.
Yeah. And yeah, let me know
If I ever want to talk.
Yeah.
This helps.
Yeah. Yeah, but for real.
Yeah. I appreciate that. What's your takeaway? Hopefully it's a little bit lighter.
It is. Yeah. No, I mean, yeah, I don't got any like crazy takeaways. I think like for me, you talk about Groundhog Day and every day being the same. I think like my takeaway is actually relates to that in the sense that like my takeaway is change is good, and just try as much shit as possible so that every day is not the same. You know what I mean? Like, I try not to wake up every, like, between work and just like other things in life. Like, I feel like I'm never really in a routine because everything's so different and things are always changing, and it's not like I'm going to bed at the same time every night. And so as much as like I know people value routine, and like I definitely would love at some point to get in a nice routine, and I think it'll come. It's like one of those things where right now, you know, I never know what tomorrow is going to bring. It's going to be like, and it's exciting, it's tiring. But yeah, I think that, my takeaway is just, embrace change, embrace things happening to you. And I think that, again, like I had a conversation with someone the other night at dinner, and it's like, it goes back to life is only 10% of what happens to you and 90% how you perceive it.
Mhm.
So just with that notion of mind every day, just keeping that in mind and things happening to me, whatever. If you want to believe it's for a reason, if you want to believe it's probability, if like that's
Well,
my
it's interesting.
overarching takeaway.
It's interesting that there's this contrast between me and you because like you do have your lifestyle like
Very different.
lends itself to like there is spontaneity. Like
Yeah, I love
are able
spontaneity. It's
to
my favorite
switch
thing.
up.
Yeah,
Like whereas like
serendipity.
I have kids and like I have a wife and like if we don't have that structure and we don't have that routine, it's just kind of like chaos,
Yeah, I hear
you
you.
know? But yo, dude, the truth is like again, I think maybe that's part of why like yo, I wake up in the morning now and it's like, okay, I'm rushing to get my kids ready, to
Yeah,
get them fed so I could get them to school. Then I'm rushing to the train so I could get to work. Then I'm putting in a
it feels
fucking
constantly, but yeah,
day, rushing to get the train home, rushing to get home to just to be with my kids so that before they go to sleep, dinner, uh, watch some mindless like show with my wife. She falls asleep. I go downstairs. I eat a bunch of food like an asshole, some snacks, and then go to
yeah,
sleep, rinse and repeat. And it's just like at some point I need that fucking change, or else like I'm
yeah,
gonna lose. You know
yeah.
what I mean? And like
Sounds like you do. Yeah.
it's tough. It's tough.
I can only imagine. Yeah, don't get me wrong. I am fully ready and would love the day for wife and kids. But yeah, while that's not a feature of my life, like I think yeah, every day just being different and doing different things. Yeah, I mean, even it's tough with the kids, but even I don't know, man. Like every couple days a week, like you guys go fucking skateboard. I don't know, but you know what I mean. Like
Yeah.
just doing different shit. Uh, and you incorporating your family in that because obviously you want to go home and spend time with them. But
Like
whatever that is.
whenever I get home and I'm like I do like I'll be like yo like I'll call my boys and I'll just be like let's just go for a walk and like we'll
Yeah.
take a walk and like funny thing is like in those moments where we're just going for a walk and we're just talking and like whatever like that's my happiest those are my happiest moments, you know what I mean?
Walking is therapeutic.
Very therapeutic.
Walking is underrated.
And that's like when my kids like can literally talk to me. You know what I mean? Like as opposed to like they're home and like on an iPad or like distracted. Like
Yeah.
it's almost like going back to, pre-technology days.
Yeah. Yeah, man. No, lots of good shit here. Shall we call it a wrap? Episode 11 in the books,
So
in
11.
person.
Yeah.
Um,
Haven't seen you. I'm like
yeah, I know.
stuck with ice. I'm not used to them.
But yeah, no, hopefully we get another one in person soon and keep it moving. Appreciate everyone for listening. And yeah, quality time. Peace.
Peace.
Thank you for tuning into the Put On Podcast. If you enjoyed this episode, make sure to subscribe and don't forget to follow us on social at the Put On Pod.